episode of Top of the Funnel, where content conversations begin. Today's guest is someone who has been with Semrush for over 8 years. So I think it's safe to call him an SEO king who will be joining us in our conversation today. A lot of our conversation is going to be around SEO, but also how SEO and content marketing come together. I'm hoping that there are a lot of takeaways, very actionable takeaways for content marketers like you and me on what we can do to take our content marketing strategies to the next level. And on that note, let me welcome Fernando Angulo. He is the Senior Market Research Manager at Semrush and has played multiple roles over there. As you can imagine, he was the head of international partnerships for 6 years. He's been a corporate speaker and evangelist. He has introduced influencer marketing at Semrush. He has been the head of communications, and most recently, he is the senior market research manager working out of Prague. And he's here with us today. Thank you so much, Fernando, for joining us.
Hi, Natasha. Perfect. Really glad to be here today.
So I'll jump straight into it. And, there are a bunch of questions that we had, and we had even announced it on our social platforms that you would be joining us in a conversation. So there were a few questions that some of our followers sent us. So I'll jump straight into them. And so the first question, which everybody wants to know, is that Google's algorithm is constantly changing. So how relevant is SEO still if you are trying to build a robust content marketing strategy?
Nice. That's a good question. Actually, that brings the foundation, what to do next, right? And I'm doing SEO, I'm doing content marketing. What to do next? Well, definitely is 2021, and SEO is definitely still there, and it's going to be there for years to come. But when it comes to content marketing, something really interesting happened a couple of years ago. Actually, from the beginning of the pandemic, it was more intensive. Why? Because the need to have a support system between SEO, so what people are looking for, searching for, and correlating that with content marketing, the relevant content that companies they need to build. That mix is already in one piece. So we have the definition of content marketing as something that you need to reveal to the audiences with relevant and really important content. With SEO, that brings pretty much 93% of search experiences start on a search engine, right? And those experiences are coming from SEO. So we need to mix both of them and offering the same experience when people are searching and when they are finding something relevant. So basically, if we're talking about more basic stuff, the SEO is like the body. The content is the soul of the body, so they cannot work separately. They need to be together all the time. And how to build robust content more effectively with content marketing? Well, first you need to start with SEO, bring the foundation, bring the healthy body. You need to start doing, of course, an SEO audit of the content that you of your overall your whole website, and then define what are the goals of your content marketing. So you want to bring more online visibility to the projects that you want to promote, that you want to show to the rest of the audience that you're looking for.
I like that. So you think that I like the analogy of the soul and the body. But having said that, Google's constantly changing what they need from us content marketers and content creators. So can you just recap for us maybe 3 to 5 best practices as of 2021 that following?
Sure, definitely. And let me let me make a point here. When Google is making all the changes on their algorithm, well, that's pretty much 95% of the times those changes are related to content marketing, not strictly to SEO. So when we have something new in Google, that's determined by content marketing. How good is the content that you are publishing, the relevancy, and how fast is pushing on your service so people can upload that in their personal computers. So it's relevant to notice that the major changes are basically made on content marketing. And what are the key points? So if we want to create a checklist, right, the basic stuff, the foundation of the SEO, if we want to call it like that, the best practices are pretty much the same the last 10 years, with a little bit of changes because of those changes on the algorithm. Basically, first of all, we need to start with a keyword research. That's the basics. The keyword research 2.0 is to understand what people are searching for. So the questions, so the question keywords. Basically, we are building the online visibility around three major questions. What is the name of the product or your service? How to use it, how to create something with the product or the service that you're bringing on, and the last question is where to find it. So you will have another type of results with that. So what is, how to use it, and where to find it are basically the most common stuff that you need to create, the content that you need to create. So people are going to be easily finding you wherever they are on the internet. So after keyword research, we are there measuring the interest of the people on certain topics. But that's the thing. You are trying to find the interest on topics, and keyword research is not helping you with that. The thing that is helping you is topic research. So you need to find what is interesting for the people. And that's not basically SEO stuff. That's more PR stuff. That is related more with massive amounts of content that PR agencies or outlets are creating. So for such effort, you need to understand what is the interest of the people, what people need, what are the questions that are looking for in terms of their needs. So the problems, the solutions that they want to find through their problems. That's why we need to enable topic research, finding what is the most popular, let's say in other terms, the most trending topics. So people are going there every time that they need to find a source for their problems, more solution for the problems. After doing that, we already did keyword research, then topic research, then we need to do something that is really important, which is technical SEO. Without technical SEO, you cannot do basically anything else because you need to be visible for the bots, you need to be visible for Google, and for doing so, you need to run a site audit, taking all the points of the technical SEO, what is happening with the structure of your the architecture of your website, the interlinking is working well, you have all the redirections working with your service. So all the technical stuff should be there. The fourth point here will be to do an on page and content creation. So looking each URL, identifying what is the structure of that URL, and of course, we need to see if that URL is interlinking with other ones, the certain amount of words that you need to have in each URL, the content hierarchy. So you need to have there not only an H1, not only one header, you need to have tons of them. H1, H2, H3, H4. So you will be explaining what is the purpose of that content. So you need to have more than 500 words for sure. In some cases, you will need to have more than 1,000 words. In other cases, you need to have more than 15,000 words. That depends on the purpose of the content that you're building. And the last part, of course, you need to do the offline SEO, off-page SEO. So that means it's not directly in your website. You need to see what your competitors are doing. You need to you need to check what is happening with the content, with the impact of the content that you're publishing. You are getting links. you are getting backlinks from other sources. You are creating more partnerships with that. You are invited to create to do co-marketing, to co-create content with other resources. So you are getting that visibility that will reflect how good you are with your off-page SEO. So those five pillars are the most important ones when you are doing SEO. Let me go for it. Yes, definitely. In SEMrush, we have different tools to create that content marketing strategy. Well, not to create it, to support it, because the purpose of the content marketing strategy for every single individual or company, business is different, right? In this case, let's go from the basic to the overall strategy. The basic rule that we have when we are creating content is to do the 80 and 20% rule. 80% of your time you are spending when talking about content marketing into promoting that content marketing stuff that you are creating, and 20% of your time you are spending, so we are spending into content creation. So that's the golden rule here, because there are tons of pieces of content out there that nobody's seeing. That's why content promotion is so important here. So that's the basic rule here: 80% content promotion and 20% is content creation. Let's go for the content creation part for that strategy. When we are seeing what is the next, let's say, 4 steps for building a content marketing strategy, we need to start with the plan. So content marketing strategy starts with a plan. Who is the audience that you want to reach? You need to go very well with the target audience that you want to follow. Then you need to think about, okay, what is the content that they need? The purpose of the content, it needs to be top of the funnel, mid of the funnel, or the bottom of the funnel. So you need to think about the stages and the individual. So you need to create the buyer persona and to create that journey for the people that are going to be visiting your website. And of course, the second step there is the positioning, how you are positioning the content that you are creating. So do you have a good product? The brand is unique, and your unique selling proposition is exceptional. So you have a good product, you will not be having any problems to promote that product, right? So if you have a good product or good service, everything should be good with the next step, right? So what makes that product or that service better than your competitors? So you need to think about those 3 things when you're positioning yourself in the market. So you have the plan about who's your audience. You need to think second about the product that you are trying to promote, or the service that you are trying to promote through content, identifying what is your unique selling proposition there. Then you need to think about what is the value. So we are going step by step, right? First about the individual that is the audience, then we are going to the product or the service, then we go to the value proposition. So what is the best feature? What is the most important case that people can use that thing that you are offering, and why the audience will read that piece of content? Something interesting is happening around e-commerce these days, and let me give you an example. When I was, I believe it was last year in Denmark, it was actually the last flight that I had before the pandemics. I was with a group of e-commerce owners, professionals, and I was asking, how many of you are buying from your own e-commerce? So you are going to through the path that the users, that your customers are going to feel all the pain or all the satisfaction that they have when they are buying from you. And the amount of hands that I was seeing in the room was very low, like only 10% of the room that were saying, okay, I'm buying from my own store, right? So most of the people, they are not consuming the e-commerces, they are not consuming their own products, so they cannot feel the real pain or satisfaction that their users are experimenting. So that's the value proposition. If the companies are going to be trying their own products, they're going to say, okay, this is a good product or this is not a good product, and I cannot promote this. That's the value proposition that you need to have, something that you really like and you want to promote. You cannot be that robotic part of the system saying, okay, I have a product, let's promote it. I have a service, let's promote it. You need to feel what is the specific value. You're gonna get satisfaction from that product. You're gonna solve your problems with that service. Are you gonna be right there with finding the solution for the path of your search query? So if you product or service is solving that, you have a value proposition. Easy as that. And the last part of the content marketing strategy is to figure out the business case. So how useful for your business is this content that you are creating, and how content marketing is going to bring more business, more money to the company in the months to come or in the years to come, depending of the stage of the business that you are. So creating a plan, thinking about the position of the product of your service, thinking about the value proposition, and of course, thinking what I have from this. Because creating content just for the sake of content, there's nothing useful, brilliant of doing that. You need to think about the purpose of the content and what is the value of that content that is going to bring to your users.
Brilliant. So, one of the things that you have actively worked on during your time at Semrush is building the influencer marketing program there. And so, I'd love to hear from your experience on that note. So, how can B2B companies effectively use influencer marketing as a key marketing strategy?
Oh, sure, definitely. This is my most beloved topic. And when we're talking about B2B and influencer marketing, we're basically talking, of course, about B2C as well, because people who are working in B2B, they're also people, right? They are also get influenced by people that they trust and they love. And if they are working for a company, let's say, they are getting the same influence as B2C. So here is basically the target audience that you have, and you can have basically working with B2B, B2C, the same influence with the same type of influencers, but that depends on the topic. Saying that, influencer marketing is everything about trust. It's everything about who do you believe, and of course, it's about share of voice. When we are starting a campaign, and let me put this in a back story on SEMrush, we have still a very complicated product to explain to people. So you need to do a site audit, right? You need to do a position tracking, taking some examples, taking some KPIs from the SERPs. So you are talking about different terms that you need to understand those terms. And for someone that is starting with their own online business, that's something kind of difficult to understand from the beginning. You need to have the glossary of the words. You need to understand every term. Influencers help with translating those difficult terms and those difficult products into a really easy, plain language. So they can explain difficult stuff with their own words, which makes it more easy to understand. That's the first point. The educational path and the educational curve that is going from difficult to very easy to understand and to digest is something that influencers can help with B2B. You have a tremendous, really difficult product or project. Influencers can explain that with simple words. So that's the first point that we take. The second point here is that influencer marketing provides customers with insights and perspective, their own perspective, from a source that they are trusting. In this case, that's the B2B company that or B2C company that they are supporting. So those insights are really important just to make sure that not in a whole, but just in a certain level, some details of a product or service are more enabled, are more recognizable for largest audience. In this case, those insights are really important when you are trying to launch a new product, when you want to create more buzz around a new feature, a new service, and influencers are doing that because they are focusing their own content on those features, on those insights. So insights from influencers are really good to have when you are building buzz around a feature or a product. The third most important thing here is about audiences. Everybody loves to have a really engaged community, active community that are going to be actively doing stuff, and that's in terms of in a perspective of a business. But in a perspective of a user, most of the people, they like to be part of something. They like to be part of a group or a certain part of individuals or a community. So in this case, an influencer that is managing their own community is just helping you with that, with the problem that is building a community. So community building is something that is kind of difficult to have if you don't have that. It's a difficult thing to do if you don't have that, I will say, talent to attract people to follow you. Brands, people, they don't love to follow brands. They don't love to follow businesses. They love to follow people. They love to hear people talking about other people. In this case, the third most important part is that humanizing the things that you want to transmit to your audience with influencer marketing, as we did. Let's say we're talking about technical SEO, which is basically repeating the same type of content once and once and once. Coming from a business account in social media, that will be very, let's say, boring, right? But coming from an influencer that is making their own insights, that is creating, sending their own insights, creating their own perspective on these topics, is kind of more interesting. It is basically, and this is the 4 point, storytelling. Hey, I have 500,000 I reach 500,000 unique visitors in my website doing this, and this. That's storytelling. I have more success because of these steps that I follow when I was creating content. Or these are the results of my 3 years of working with SEO. That's storytelling. So storytelling is better when you have people involved. That's why when we use our first campaigns saying, okay, these are the people who are using Semrush and our community is really brilliant and is very active. These are the people who are creating that. We need to do something with them to connect them more with our teams and our own branding with Semrush, right? So we build different type of events to connect influencers from different countries, let's say from India, from Australia, from United States, from United Kingdom, from Europe, from Latin America, all in one single place together. So we have 40 people, 40 influencers that they were not only having a conversation, but doing business from different continents. So that was something that really enabled our multinational community around those influencers. But of course, they were connecting more with the brand, which at the end of the day is people, right? People are behind of the brand, but the brand is nothing without the people. The influencers are helping a lot with humanizing any brand to their audiences. That is basically our case.
That's amazing. I think to be at the forefront of having created that and sort of seeing that multiply and its impact. And that kind of brings me to my next question, talking about impact. And um, SEMrush is also a very great analytical tool. There's so many insights that are, so seamlessly woven into the product. So, on that note, I'd love to ask you, what are some key metrics that content marketers must watch out for when building their strategy month on month, quarter on quarter?
Sure. Well, there are a lot of metrics when we are talking about content marketing. The most common ones at some point were, of course, traffic, the amount of traffic that you are getting for a certain URL. But let's talk about the most efficient metrics that, for example, right now we're using, because we understood that having 100,000 people on one single landing page is good, but it's not something that we must have. We need to have something more. We need to have more conversions. We need to have more new leads. So traffic, just because of the sake of traffic, is useless. In this case, the most efficient key metrics for content marketing are conversion rates, then the number of leads that you are converting, that they are engaged with that content, that are doing something. All our metrics are based on actions. So if you are coming to our blog or to any other pages that we are promoting, you need to be able to do something there. So if we are good at what we are doing, you see a banner on a website, you see some promotional stuff on a website, you click on that. The second step that you're going to be following is to see a beautiful piece of content, a landing page, and from that we are going to be creating that content, that specific content that is going to be enabling you to do some action. If we're good on that, if we're not good on that, so you're going to be just closing that. So targeting specific people, a specific type of audiences that they need the solution that we're provided, that's something that's going to be reflected in the conversion rate, in the number of leads, and I will say this, the number of new leads as well, and of course the number of visitors. It's important as well because you can see there the click-through rate, how many people are entering basically in terms of overall, and how many of them are converting. When we are talking about more specific stuff in terms of brand awareness, I will measure here and I will add as a great metric to follow brand impact. How you measure brand impact? So basically is how people are interacting with the content, with the specific content that you are providing, not instantly on your website, but in other sources. In this case, the best source to measure that is Google. When you are searching for some related question, let's say how to build a content marketing strategy, right? So that is a very specific powered keyword. But Google is going to be showing you there different type of results. The first result, or I could say the result, the zero result, is a feature snippet. The second result of that is a people also ask result. People also ask result. So you have two serve features there, this feature snippet and the people also ask. If you are on one of them, and if you are recognizable there, let's say you have the text there, the paragraph, the list, or you are into the box of the keyword of the question, people also ask, the question box, you are going to be getting that visibility, and people are going to say, okay, I'm getting this reply from this company. Oh, okay, this company must be a trustful resource, right? Okay, that's brand impact. So you are creating more awareness around the trust that you're bringing through those search features. So having search features, the number of the search features that you're having, that's a good metric for brand impact. But even more, the number of feature snippets that you are having, that's a good metric for brand impact. How many feature snippets you had in terms of your most important keywords. So you're selling, let's say, services. You're a lawyer and your main product are, let's say, divorce, right? Divorce acts, or for example, you are selling services. You are a dentist. You are selling, let's say, something, right? Your most important product. For those important products, you need to build a buzz around them. So to build awareness, for doing that, you need to have feature snippet. And why is that important for brand impact? Well, basically because feature snippets are the source for voice search in your voice devices. So if you have Google Home, you have the Home Mini, if you have your Android device, you will have enabled your voice assistant, and the source of those answers when you are not only asking about the weather or about the time, but when you're asking certain questions about, okay, what is the definition of, let's say, an issue, disease, whatever, that information is taken from feature snippet. So if you want to open a bank account, if you want to understand what are the mortgage rates in a certain bank, it will be great to have such results for a voice device, and that's why you need to have these feature snippets and to measure the brand impact of that.
It's interesting that you spoke about voice because my next question is kind of going to um, talk about what the future of SEO and its impact on content marketing is going to look like. But before I say that, I would love to kind of just pick your brains on. You briefly spoke about the pandemic. So, how has the pandemic, in your opinion, changed digital marketing and content in particular? Do you see a big shift that has happened, and do you see that as a permanent shift or something that will die out on its own?
For the SEO, in the SEO industry, there was a lot of change as well. Google has changed a lot of their own results, the local results, the new terms that they have with the core vitals for each website. So there are a lot of stuff in the SEO industry as well. But that's something good for the user, for the people who are entering to the digital space and that are there. And what is going to be happening in the next years? So I can guess that most of the devices that were most of the people that were using their own devices, they're just going to be using even more. So the digital transformation is something from the past. It's not something that is coming. It's already something from the past. Right now, we are in the digital utilization. So we are digitalized already. We need to go to the next experience, which is changing the economics of the things. So you don't need to go to a bank to do your transactions. You don't need to go to a school or your university to study the things that you want to have. You don't need to go to the supermarket to get your stuff. You can order that. So that digital implementation, yeah, that's the word that I wanted to follow. That digital implementation, that's the level that we are right now. But the tons and tons of data and information that are out there are something really, I will say, dangerous to measure, to have, because and it's very difficult to have because data privacy issues, data enablement in terms of data storage as well. That's something really difficult to do for a person. So that's where artificial intelligence is coming to identify the paths of the people, to identify the behavior of the people. So it's the new start of the artificial intelligence era. And this is something that is enabling, of course, content marketing and SEO as well. If you need to repeat something constantly and just little changes are need to be done, artificial intelligence can do that as well. So we will have new professions, we will have new ways to do stuff. And when it comes to content marketing, content creation by artificial intelligence is already there. We can see the results of some sports tournaments are already created not by people but only from an artificial intelligence algorithm, because it's something easy to do, it's something easy to collect as well. And of course, when it comes to traveling as well, the same information, if your flight is delayed or it's canceled, you will not have people writing that. It's artificial intelligence that is writing that. And at certain point, we will not recognize any difference. That's the thing that is really worries me, that we will be in that moment that artificial intelligence is writing for us the news. Something is happening, and we don't have any journalists writing that for us. It's just artificial intelligence, and it's writing a certain information for me, certain for you, or certain for different people. So with the target that they have. In this case, for SEO, we will see more changes that are related to artificial intelligence, that we have the whole implementation of the BERT algorithm this year. Oh, yes, that happened this year, at the beginning of this year. That means that Google is going to give you a really good experience, and they're going to be showing you the really great results for your personal search queries. In terms of voice search, that's something even more important, because right now we have voice search results, but we don't have conversations. We don't have any conversations that are logical, continuing a logical path in terms of person to person. That's something that we are expecting. I'm expecting to have a conversation with my Cortana, Alexa, or home device on anything, because that will be just a lot of fun. And we will know that, okay, where they are taking all that information, the sarcasm, the humor, all that stuff. It's only a matter of time that we're going to be experimenting things, stuff like that.
So amazing. So I think we've gone from AI to data privacy issues to voice search becoming more conversational. I think these are the three big takeaways that you spoke about in terms of what the future is looking like. Have I got it covered?
Yes, that's correct.
Amazing. So a lot of exciting and but also unnerving things ahead of us, I think. So thanks, Fernando. On that note, I think I just want to say thank you for making the time once again. And this was a great conversation. I think there are a lot of great takeaways from this. Not it wasn't an extensive session, but I think we got a lot of meat out of it. So thank you once again.
Oh, thank you, Natasha. No, it was really nice to have this conversation.
And as a Semrush fan boys and girls here at Pepper, I hope we stay in touch and there's something more we can do together in the future.
Oh, yes, we are always open to do something else.